to a brand new episode here on 1950's Farm. So what is the task today? Well, the task today is we've got to clear these bales. All of these bales here, all of those bales over there. And as you can see, I've bought a new shed. I'll show you that when we get a trailer full. It's basically the same bale shed as the dairy. It's the same one. But it's just going to help us to obviously have a place to store our bales, because that's going to be close to the cows. Oh no, we're not doing it this way no more, are we? Because doing it the other way, I became a superb bale stacker, didn't I? Yeah, I remember. So we'll do it the other way. But yeah, so as I say, I put a new shed in, and so we're going to clear these bales, and then we are going to plough this over, and then we're going to plant this with I'm hoping soybeans, but it may be getting a little bit late, and I possibly won't have the time, because the cows are roughly going to take about 144,000 litres of food a year. It's whether or not I can get away with making this whole field arable and just grow enough food on that one bit of grass over there for the cows a year. They don't need a huge amount, but to be fair, we have got a little bit of a head start as well, so that's something that sort of does go in our favour, is that we're not sort of got the cows and then it's like, Christ, we need the food. Thankfully, we have the food beforehand, so the fact that we can have a bit of a head start on that is pretty good. And as I say, it's going to be helpful, because it will hopefully, we should get at least 2 cuts of hay off that grass over there. Once I get the bales cleared off it, it's going to be cut straight away, because as I say, and then hopefully we can then get 2 cuts from that, and I'm hoping that 2 cuts plus these will mean that we'll have enough food to not only get us through to next year when we can obviously start cutting the grass again, but I would also like to, as I say, buy the bit of land that's just to sort of the direction that the front of my tractor would be currently pointing in. There's an arable field there and a grass field there, and I'd like to buy that at some point. Yeah, I'd like to. Sorry, I was just concentrating there for a second. That's why I went quiet. Yeah, I'd like to buy that. So the field that I'm talking about, just beyond those trees, there's a small arable field and a small grass field. But again, the grass field will help us to grow the because essentially that would be 4 cuts of hay a year. And I mean, if we do run out, I'm sure the dairy wouldn't mind lending us a few bales, and we can buy them off them. So, it's sort of, we're not in any great rush or sort of need, but it's always good to have a plan B, especially in farming. Always good to have a plan B. As you can see, I'm still not brilliant, but I'm no longer terrible, I think. But no, as I say, since I've been doing YouTube, I am slowly getting a little bit more confident and a little bit more comfortable doing it. Um, but once I'd sort of made that decision that I was going to do YouTube, that I was going to do videos, that I was going to, I also made the decision that I wanted to then stack bales and try and do, sort of do as much as I can myself, rather than having auto stack and all the other mods that sort of help with it. I do still use auto stack, and I will be at points using auto stack in my save games. But why are you? Oh dear. But for the most part, I won't be. I want to. I do want to try and do it myself, because if to one day maybe get it right. I remember in 2000, it might have been 19 actually, when 2019 came out, there was a map called Ayers Hole, and that had a brilliant cow barn in it, where the trigger for the straw was an actual trigger on the floor, so you could put bales in there, and obviously it would then eat the bales and lay the straw. But what it meant was, because the fields on Ayers Hole were so big, that you harvested a couple of fields, baled it, you could then take the bales. I would use an auto stack trailer to collect the bales, but I would use a forklift and a bale grab to take the bales off the trailer, and I stacked them manually inside the trigger. And honestly, I did an immense job. It was like the perfect stack. It was perfectly square, perfectly level. Everything was in line. Honestly, it was amazing. I might even dig out 19 and see if, I probably still don't have that save, to be fair, because it was quite early on in 2019. It was I'm sure it was within the first year of 2019, and sort of by then I'd sort of kind of moved on a bit, if you know what I mean. Like, I'd sort of, other maps came out, and so therefore, it more than likely got wiped off. I mean, for the last probably year and a little bit of 2019, I was playing, and I think I've mentioned it before, I was playing a map called Taimonkawohu, or Gaspado Taimonkawohu, or something like that. And that again was an awesome map. It was massive. That map was absolutely massive. But a fantastic map, and decided that I was gonna buy. I was gonna do it from literally having one tractor, and a poor tractor at that, one combine and a poor combine at that, and see where I could get. And I bought on the game, in one of the corners, there was a really tiny sheep farm, and it literally had one building, a house, and a tip trigger, a silo, sorry, for crops. And I bought that, and to be fair, I didn't expect that save game to last. I thought that I would get frustrated, because the fields were massive and my machinery was like 3 meters, and it was like 150 horsepower tractor and a tiny combine and what have you. And by the time I'd finished that save, we were a big farm, and I don't know, it just captured me and it just carried me. And I love it when that happens. I love it when you sort of kind of play a map on Farming Sim, and you sort of think, it's a nice map, but I don't think it's going to hold me for that long. And then sort of a year later, and you're still playing it. I mean, that was before YouTube, so I was playing that map, I don't know, 15, 16 hours a day. And yeah, as I say, like, but that's sort of was sorry, I completely lost my train of thought there. About 9 things entered my brain to say at the same time, and my mouth went, which one do you want me to, to actually get out? It's like, I don't know. But yeah, so it was good times on that map, and so I'm sort of going backwards with this tractor because I'm actually finding it is a little bit easier than having to keep switching cameras and stuff, because I don't know about you, but sometimes that makes me feel a bit queasy when you know, you're switching cameras and constantly turning and what have you. So I'm sort of doing it this way because it does mean that I can basically keep the camera in one position. But yeah, so yeah, we get these cleared, get the other field cleared, and then at the very least we'll get this half ploughed. I want to see, I might plough this half now and then the other half in the autumn, and then we'll make all of this field an arable field as well. I can't quite tell where I am, and yeah, that's what I might do, because at least getting another couple of cuts off the field that I've already sort of highlighted the field over there, and then the rest of this field, get another couple of cuts off the rest of this field, the other half to this field, or the other sort of 3/4 really, because this is not half of the field. That should give us way more than enough food. I'm sure I bought calves, so they're not gonna multiply or breed, or you know, sort of the food consumption is not going to go up too rapidly, so we can definitely get that hay barn full. We don't need straw. The pen doesn't you know, doesn't require straw in, so we can just fill it full of hay, and any surplus that we get we can, you know, obviously take to the dairy farm, because it's not going to be too long before the dairy farm has another dairy paddock, or whatever you call it, you know, however you sort of want to call them, another area for cows. You know, they grew their herd very, very quickly, and they do say that that's what attributed them to riding through the storm, as they call it, from the 60s, and then again in the late 80s, mid 90s, when another recession not only hit the UK but also apparently hit America. You know, the fact that they got so big so quick meant that they were able to ride it out, and it was the 90s recession and sort of depression that prompted them to stop relying on other people to buy their products and losing vast sums of money on them, and open up their own abattoirs, their own, because they also do pigs. Again, it was another source of income that they felt, you know, pigs were sort of fairly cheap to run, if you like, and it was a source of income for them. You know, and not only that, of course, you know, not only are they doing their own milk and their own yogurts and ice creams and butters and everything else, of course, then they're able to do their own sausages, their own hams, porks, you know. It is quite amazing how much forethought goes into, you know, safeguarding your business and safeguarding what you do, and just having the courage and the conviction and the I guess as well the resources to do it. But yeah, it was quite it's amazing really that, you know, even for Harry to kind of get to that point where he realised, and you know, no doubt, you know, he was influenced by the dairy. I mean, you know, you can't be off it. because he was working there, and I guess it's in a way a little bit like a football player that plays under someone like Brian Clough or Sir Alex Ferguson or Arsene Wenger or Guardiola, probably in today's modern world. And while you're working for those people, you're learning, and if management is something that you eventually want to go on, you would be silly not to learn and to take note from those people that are very successful at what they do. And I guess that was no different for Harry. He was working for the dairy. He could see what was going on. He could see the way they were managing not only the people that work for them, but also the company as well, and the business. And he would have been foolish not to have taken that forward into his own business. And I guess that's what he did, and hence the reason why he was also able to survive. Um, the recessions and sort of financial depressions that that they went through. But as I say, in terms of the dairy, realizing as quickly as they did that actually, stop relying on other people, produce everything yourself. And I'm guessing, a much better quality, a much more authentic product, and they, obviously did very well from it, because, as I say, today they are absolutely massive. If I can, because I want to put pictures up of the sort of their farms as they were then and what they are now, and the machinery and stuff like that, but I don't want to be copyrighted, and I don't want obviously copyright strikes on my YouTube channel, or or to be sort of copyrighted outside of YouTube as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, although I'm not earning no money from from the thing, but and but it is still something that does sort of concern me. But what I might do is I might email them and tell them what I'm doing, and see whether they would object to me posting pictures of their farm and different things. But yeah, as I say, it's something that I would, because it kind of brings a little bit of I don't know what the right word is really, but sort of authenticity to what I'm doing. The fact that people can then actually say, oh well, that's what they did, and yeah, okay, he's doing that in the game. Do you know what I mean? It's just that kind of sort of confirmation, probably, maybe a better word. But yeah, anyway, I have rabbited on for way too long, so we're going to go into a bit of time lapse. So we've only got that field now over there to lift and shift, and then once we've done that, I do need to come out of cab for this bit. Didn't quite get that straight. Yeah, as I say, that field over there, and then we'll get this one ploughed over, and maybe and hopefully, because I've got a feeling today might be the last chance that I have to plant it, so we all need to get on with that if we're going to do it. And the problem is, because it's not actually a recognisable field to the game, I can't use Courseplay to plough it, so I'm going to have to plough it myself. I can use Courseplay to cultivate it, that'll be no problem, so we'll get on with that as quick as possible. But yeah, I can't actually use Courseplay to plough it, because it's not a recognisable field, so Courseplay won't acknowledge it, and even if Courseplay would acknowledge it, it would do the whole field and not just this little bit. In order for Courseplay to recognise just this little bit and not the rest, I would need to put what I call blocker in, which is a paintable grass that Courseplay knows it can't do anything to. So essentially the grass that we've got here now, and Courseplay knows it can't do anything to it, and then it would only recognise the bit then that I was in, but as I say, it won't recognise this field. But yeah, we'll get on. So I'll see you in a little bit. Bye for now. And I'm back. There we go. So we've got it drilled, which is all grand. And I haven't done a hugely special job in terms of getting too close, because one thing I didn't realise before I started was this is actually a field. It's recognised as a field, so it meant that because me textures are a bit dodgy on this map, I didn't want to suddenly then have all this as field as well. So what I did was I sort of drove as straight as I could, which is, to be fair, it isn't too bad. If you look down the line, I did this all the way around the field, so I drove as straight as I could across there, and then down there, across there, and then obviously down there to make the field. But I haven't drilled necessarily right up to the edge of the field. What I'll do is off camera, I will make this paint this out of the landscaping tools, and then that will stop in future when I drill up to the edge. That will stop the drill from spreading the textures into the posts of the fence here. So that's the reason why I've sort of left it the way it has. And so all I need to do now is just roll it, and then once I've rolled it, you know, that will be sort of job done then until the fertilising and the spraying comes along. But yeah, so it hasn't gone too bad, and I'm really pleased. And the bales was quite good again, so quite proud and pleased of myself for the fact that, as I say, we've got some bales in there, and it tells you how many bales, but it doesn't tell you the complete. So we've got 30 at 4,900, 500. Sorry. So yeah, we've got more than enough there to be getting on with. And as I say, we'll cut the other side and we'll cut this as well, and they will all go in there. I'll probably do that off camera just so as we don't have loads of hay cutting and baling and grass cutting and stuff like that. So I'll do them off camera. But as I say, the next few episodes really are going to be combine contracting. As you can see, wheat around the map now is starting to get ready. I'm only going to be staying fairly local to Harry's farm, and not going to be going too far away. Some of the contracting, or most of the contracting, I will do off camera, just because I think that will I think it will work sort of well like that. And then obviously our combining and the dairy's combining, I'll obviously do on camera. We'll see that. But as I've said before, I'm sort of kind of keen to get this save sort of rapidly moving along, because I don't want sort of you guys to sort of kind of think, you know, we're still in the 50s. Yeah, we need to be moving forward, and you know, and sort of getting into the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and then the 2000s, and then the 2010s, and then the 20s, and then, you know, up to the modern day. So we've a long way to go on this save, and huge developments that obviously will start to take place not only here but also over there at the dairy as well. You know, as I say, myself and the dairy, we have our own separate bank, so I do take note of the money I get from the milk and their crops, and then that's sort of their bank account, which I can assure you at this moment as it stands is considerably more than my bank account. But that's the way it was back in the day, and as I say, so yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you haven't done already, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It really does help my channel. Say it every time. And you know, I don't need to go into great details. You know, by the time July 1st comes, I am hoping to reach 400 subscribers. I know we can do it, and I'd also like to see if we could get 20 likes on the video as well. That would be fantastic as well, just to help sort of push them along, because all that sort of stuff is free to do. it helps me, it pushes the video out there a little bit more to more people, so I can get more people to the channel, like I say, build the community, and go from there, and that would be fantastic. But all that's left for me to say is I've really enjoyed having your company on this episode, and I really hope you join me for the next one. Bye for now.